Thank you very much for that introduction, Andrea, and I'm really excited to be here today in the room with you sharing my circular economy journey. And one thing I'd like to say is that we do need to extract as much value from waste as possible and make sure that we're moving it up the waste hierarchy. So I'm really glad you've chosen the circular economy stream today. Increasingly, people are making references to the circular economy as a solution for our current waste predicament. Obviously, China's announcement has given the Western countries a reality check and the realisation that we need to move beyond simply exporting our waste and calling it recycling. For me, it's a really exciting time and a game changer that people are actually starting to use the term circular economy now, and not to mention it's on meeting agendas in the news and also on conference items. So I guess, yeah, there is that greater understanding as we move away from the need to move away from a linear to a circular economy, but we don't want the term circular economy to become a buzzword. We need to walk the talk and demonstrate through our actions what can be achieved. Today I would like to share with you some of my insights and learnings from my own circular economy journey and hopefully inspire you all here today to more actively identify, promote and develop local circular economy initiatives through greater collaboration, connection and communication. And we certainly need to expand our connections, and connections is at the heart of circular economy. So speaking about connections, we all have the opportunity to connect with a range of people today, so I'd like to take that opportunity, and before I head into it, I'll just share a little bit about cross connections and why we're such advocates for circular economy. As Andrea mentioned, we've been working in the circular economy industry for many years. We just didn't call it circular economy back there. And the answers are changing when it comes to managing waste. So we help people identify some opportunities to work and progress circular economy initiatives. And it's not a new concept, but there is raising awareness and a new growing understanding that we need to do this. I was about 8 when I first participated in upcycling, and I took a whole lot of plastic garbage bags and upcycled into a dress for a school fashion parade. And then in later years I transported byproducts from the steel-making industry for use as road base in road construction. Since the 1990s, we've continually challenged the status quo and challenged others to rethink waste. And I think there's two key foundations that I'd like to share with you today that have, I guess, laid two areas that have laid the foundation for my participation in the circular economy. Firstly, I was the first ever female selected to participate in an innovative traineeship at Brambles Australia. So picture this, I'm 18, fresh out of school, and I walk into a workforce of 350 males. And these, I was going into a role that was both operational, so I was driving trucks and equipment, and I was one of 2 females. So during that first year, I got to know the business from the ground up, and I got to work with a great variety of people in different roles and functions. And not only that, but as a service provider to industries, I worked across coal mining industries, steel making, manufacturing, water treatment plants, the list goes on. And I guess from that point on, I was always challenging the status quo. What I came to realise later was the foundation that traineeship would provide, and I think if anyone is considering operating a traineeship within your own workplaces, it's a fantastic way to have an employee move across different parts of the business and see how these systems interrelate. So it certainly was a foundation for me establishing connections, encouraging internal collaborations and sharing best practice and greater understanding of how systems work and potential for different parts of the business to interact. Brambles operated multiple divisions of the time, including Cleanaway, and as a trainee I continually rotated across the different business units and across the different business functions. And I guess I came to appreciate the unique role that every employee plays within an organisation. Each time I returned to a business unit, I came armed with new insights and understanding from other parts of the industries and from other industry sectors that I'd worked on. As I worked across different industry sections and sectors, I also had the opportunity to observe and learn on client site. And again, as you moved across, you could take best practice and start to question why one industry or business unit was doing exactly the same task as another in a completely different way using different methods and processes. So it provided the opportunity to understand the process and to connect business units or industry who otherwise would work in isolation and get them connecting and speaking. And through this process, as a trainee, I was able to, and then later on as a business manager, I was able to communicate and educate. And I guess I saw the impact that collaboration and education had on the business, on the bottom line, and on staff morale. So the interaction and independence between various systems and is really important in the circular economy. And I guess the second factor that has influenced my journey was the fact that circular economy is good for business. And we didn't refer to it as circular economy back then, but it was a way of being more effective and more efficient in how we managed resources. And I guess at the end of the day, those improvements delivered outcomes, social, environmental and commercial. So we looked at different processes. How could we reduce the waste we actually generated on an industrial cleaning site? And again, if we did generate waste, what was the beneficial reuse opportunities? So now I'll provide a little bit about me. I'll like to start with the 3c's and connecting. And on that note, obviously we've got a lot of different people, so I've tried to guess who would be in the room today. And we've got, no doubt, representatives from lots of different industry groups, from council, government. I'd just like to, I guess, do a bit of a show of hand. Have we got any, within the councils, do we have anyone from procurement or marketing? Excellent to see. So one of the things, and obviously design students is another one. Any design students in the room? Okay. Having conversations about the circular economy involves a lot of different range of stakeholders, and I guess we did hear that today in some of the presentations about the importance of connecting, and really connecting is at the heart of everything, and we need to make sure we're having the right conversations with the right people and involving the right stakeholders in the discussion. So I guess everyone has a different role to play in the circular economy as well. We are in paid roles and we're in unpaid roles. So I challenge you to question, what is your role within your own organisation? Not just from a day-to-day, but in terms of connecting other people in your organisation that you know that may have benefit to, be connected with someone from, take the example of procurement. Who are they dealing with in waste, and do they understand the issue that, obviously more so now, but do they understand the issues or the opportunities for collaboration and really getting to, I guess, know the drivers within a business. And obviously we also engage and have roles across internal within industry group. And one thing that I noticed is that we often go to industry group meetings and we are talking about circular economy, and it's all the same people in the room, and that's great because we're really passionate and we want to make a difference. Then obviously benefit in opening up those circles and engaging with a wider audience and not preaching to the already converted. I noticed this morning, again, communication. There's a lot of great initiatives happening out there, and we actually, the circular economy is in action already. I guess one thing that we can all do is start to share those opportunities with each other. And really, again, it comes back to inspiring behaviour change, and I'll talk a little bit later about the Plastic Police program as a micro circular economy initiative. And again, one of the big things is, communicating and not just with the people who are familiar with, but it's all about communicating to build local resilience and getting people to understand that why we need to actually make some changes, and there's a number of ways you can do that, obviously through social media these days. And I guess in many conversations over the years, circular economy has been seen as niche, and I guess, yesterday someone mentioned we want to see reuse shops as part of a David Jones, the next David Jones or something like that. So we really need to have it as business as usual. When we talk about circular economy, it's not standalone, it's actually ingrained, and I guess it's getting that message out there to all who's involved. Collaboration, again, the third C. It's something that has come up continually, and without collaboration, we won't be able to lift or identify the right solutions. We have to start somewhere. So I think in terms of collaboration, once we understand what our roles are, who do we need to progress projects? You might have an idea for a circular economy project where we all have the skills and capacity to deliver different aspects of a project. So who do we need to engage in the conversation? At what stage? It could be government, we might need data, who has that data? And again, it might not always be within your own organisation. So I like to think at times there's that collaboration triangle where you've got your competitive advantage, but there's all this room to have collaboration to create economies of scales when we're looking at solutions. So you might have a particular waste stream or a material that you want to find a solution for. If you can engage with others with similar material streams, then there's an opportunity to look at different solutions based on different volumes of materials, but also to get some efficiencies. So in terms of logistics and handling and really, collaboration delivers a lot more than simply coming together with two parties. It's about picking the right organisations to collaborate and to actually, to achieve those social, environmental and economic outcomes. I've listed a couple of examples of some collaboration forums that you might connect with people at, and I guess one of the three of them that I've come across is the BEN Forum, which is the Business Environment Network. Last month they held a waste forum, and what I liked about that is obviously it's connecting businesses and manufacturers and councils and government and all different players needed to progress the circular economy. So if you're not involved in a collaboration forum, then there's an opportunity. We also have, collaboration has been the success of the circular experiment. I don't know whether you've heard of the circular experiment, but there are two sisters that had an idea and they took action, and basically they've brought up on the Sunshine Coast, they've delivered a circular experiment whereby they've engaged with businesses along Ocean Street on the Sunshine Coast, and they're delivering circular economy solutions. Now, again, these businesses involved are businesses that weren't previously collaborating in this area to any great degree, and they're starting to realise the social and environmental benefit, and I know there's a lot of more great opportunities to come through that. And one last one was the Circular Hub. So last month in Newcastle, we actually hosted a forum, and it was to start the discussions and progress the circular economy in the Hunter region. We're a very diverse group of organisations, but at that meeting, for the first one, we had over 80 organisations come along, and there were people that had never even heard the term circular economy, but they were the manufacturers, they were the people into, that research, university design students, all those people that could assist in a solution. So I guess it's, you've got to start somewhere. If you're not involved, I'd say get involved and look for those opportunities to step outside your immediate circle and see, well, look, we're only one conversation away from finding a solution for different things, so have that conversation and meet new people and go from there. So I'll just go through the 3C's, and I guess I have a local example that I've worked on since 2014, which I'd like to share with you today, but I'll kick it off with a little video about the plastic police.
A Warners Bay primary school has showcased an impressive environmental project, unveiling a piece of playground furniture made from recycled plastic. Over the past year, the Biddabar Public School community collected more than a tonne of soft plastic like chip packets and shopping bags. It was sent to a specialist recycling centre on the south coast to be transformed into an outdoor bench and is already being put to good use.
So that bench sits at the primary school that my children go to, and the plastic police was born out of an idea and a willingness to try something new and a willingness or a desire to make a difference. So I basically had an idea that there was a lot of soft plastic going into the environment. There were some options to drop it off at some local Coles and Woolworths through the red cycle, but also a government survey, consumer benchmark survey, showed that that was only capturing 2% of soft plastics. So set about to do a trial, and that was the result, the bench seat. Now, it could have ended there, but we actually started to get inquiries from across the region. And I guess with regards to the plastic police story, it's more than just recycling. It is a micro-circular economy, so it's looking at with taking soft plastic, which wasn't going into the curbside recycling bin at the time. So 2.5 years ago, it was trying to look at local solutions to redirect that material to and take value out and find the value in it. So since 2000 and since that trial, I've got a colleague, Stephanie, who's in the room today, working with me, and we've been able to take that original trial with one school to a expanded pilot, and we're now working with 2 councils in the Hunter region. I'm pleased to say Singleton and Dungog, who were both at the conference this day, are working with us in that trial space, and we're also working with a number of organisations and some additional schools. And what that is proving is that this is an engagement model, and it's actually driving behaviour change. So instead of it just being recycling and people feel good, they're putting their, as you did with the cans and bottles, put them in the yellow lidded bin and you've done your job, you've recycled. We're actually driving behaviour change where people actually want to reduce their use of plastic, because we couple that with education. We engage with other not-for-profits in this space who are actually highlighting the impact of plastics in our environment, in the marine environment. So the model is strong, it's circular, it's driving behaviour change at the top end to reduce, but at the end it's actually, we're working and collaborating with other program partners. So it's a true collaboration in that I'm one person, had an idea. The idea would have ended at Biddabar Public School had I not gone out and connected and collaborated with other organisations that could provide the peripheral services and bridge that gap. So logistics, collections, and also processing. So very early on we realised the need to actually investigate end markets. So I can say that I've been working on end markets for the last 15 months, and look, there's some great things happening in that space. So I hope to share some of that with you later. But rest assured, there will be markets for soft plastics, and we can all work together to actually redirect the right plastics to the right areas. One of the things I guess we want to do is to roll out a regional pilot of the program to prove its scalability to go statewide and national. And again, it's through collaboration that will happen. It's working with communities, it's working with councils, it's working with businesses, and it's actually driving demand for new products which otherwise wouldn't exist without this collaboration model. So there's a few key outcomes that we're experiencing, and I'll just pop that up quickly. So again, it's more than recycling. We've got litter reduction. I'm involved in the soft plastic working group with APCO. So there's a number of initiatives that are happening industry-wide that can deliver results. But at the end of the day, it is circular economy in nature, and I think it's demonstrating that you can have an idea. It doesn't have to be grand. You don't have to have a lot of money. You can actually kickstart an idea and take it to the next level and prove that, as within local communities, we've got the power to make a difference. And I'll just end up there with a bit of a quote. So I challenge you all today to go back to your workplaces, to start talking to people you don't normally talk with in your organisation, step outside your industry groups and start having the conversations that will allow you to identify a circular economy project and collaborate to actually implement it. So we need to walk the talk, and I think together we can actually make circular economy real. It's funny how that happens. I've been in multiple meetings. No, I didn't. At that stage, it was just a trial, so I actually funded it myself, and my husband was very excited when I went out and bought a shipping container and some stands. But look, I just had to prove, and I've actually, I guess, I did it without funding, but I've got something that is scalable now, so that's where I'll go for funding to take that to the next level. But yeah, it's all doable. I'm getting lots of support from the councils participating in the wider trial. So we've actually launched, and there's soft plastic collection points set up in the CRCs now. And I guess, I'd sat down with Mervs and said, can we put this plastic into the yellow bin? When you do that, you need to get the engagement to actually drive the behaviour change, because we don't just want to collect soft plastics and let people think, we're doing the right things. We've actually got to, reduce what we're collecting as well. No, I started it 3.5 years ago with the whole aim to actually process it locally. So if anything, the only impact it has is that it's taken a little bit of focus off soft plastics, because people are so focused on getting material out of the yellow bin. So that's been, I guess, a bit of a hurdle to overcome. But the beauty is that I'm actually educating the public. I've had people come up and say, my recycling bin is so empty now since I've been participating in the program. And I say, oh, well, you're putting your soft plastics in the recycling bin? Yes. So it's actually, it's had a positive impact that way, but certainly it hasn't impacted the ability for the program to roll out. Thank you. Thanks for your question. Thanks.